So today let's look at the CBM 2040, which is the Commodore Business Machine. 2040 is the drive type. This particular drive has been upgraded to a 4040 at the factory. However, the plate still says 2040, but we'll get into the differences. We'll be using my Commodore PET 4032, a Commodore data set, and this adapter here, which is a SD to PET from the future was 8-bit. This uses an SD card, which you can put in there, and then we can put programs on here. So let's look at what this unit is, although it's a double drive, but what it's all about, and how we can transfer programs like games from tape or from the SD card to the floppy drive, and vice versa. So let's get into that. Okay, so this drive is the 2040 drive and has been upgraded to the 4040. Now, the main difference between the Commodore 2040 and the 4040 drive is that the 4040 drive has a new version of DOS, which is 2.0, that supports relative files and is fully compatible with the 1541 disk format. While the 2040 drive has an older version of DOS 1.2 that lacks the relative files and is a read-only compatible with the 1541 drive. The 4040 drive is a replacement for the 2040 drive, and both drives are a dual 5¼ floppy and has an IEEE 488 interface. So let's open it up and take a closer look inside. To start with, there's 2 screws, one on each side of this case that you just pull out, and the whole unit pops up. Let's see if we can get a better angle on the video here. Okay, so this machine is not your typical floppy drive. Basically, it has its own computer. Here is a 6502 chip, which is the same chip you find in the Commodore PET, the VIC-20, the Atari 2600, Nintendo, etc. Even the Apple II Plus has the 6502. So this unit has memory and ROMs and support logic for the transfer and reading and writing and transfer of data to the computer, to and from the computer. So this computer also has an upgraded ROM. And as I mentioned earlier, is that the ROM or the ROM has been updated with a new version of DOS. So essentially, this whole machine is a computer on its own compared to the actual Commodore PET. As we see, we have voltage regulators here. We have a transformer. Let's see if we can move the camera down. So we have a transformer here with 2 large capacitors there and there. 2 floppy drives. These are the Shugart. I believe these are the Shugart 390 drives. But if you look closely, only one has a board. The other one has cables that plug in from the secondary drive to this board. So this is shared between the 2 units. When sending commands to the floppy drive, the actual processor and the computer that's built on board manages all that so that you're freeing up time on the Commodore PET to do other things, kind of like multitasking. For example, if you want to copy files or a diskette from one to the other, you send the commands and it takes care of it on its own. Meanwhile, on your Commodore PET, in my case the 4032, it will just continue on doing whatever else you want to do. So it's offloading the work to the drive. So next, let's fire up the PET and the drive and see how we can run commands to get data from the drives, and how we can copy files from cassette and or other media to the floppy drives and back. So in order to connect the drive to the PET, we need an IEEE cable which plugs in here, And basically this is just the AC power of the fuse on-off switch. And as we can see, someone's put a sticker already on here from back in the early 80s probably, or mid 80s, saying that it's been upgraded to a 4040. This is a homemade sticker. This one is a dual floppy 2040. It says around the sticker. Serial number 801371, made in the USA. So in order to hook it up, you can't use a regular cable. You have to use a specialized ieee cable. And the way this works is that this end plugs onto the back of your PET. There's a edge connector for that. And this side here has this dual connector. Let me plug this in, I'll show you. So this plugs in the back here, but notice there's another slot. So you can take another cable like this and plug it into here, and that's how you can daisy chain multiple floppy drives or multiple ieee devices together. Now, in this video, I wanted to show copying files from this PET to SD card, but this is also an ieee. I can't plug them both in the PET, and I don't have an adapter to plug them here. However, I will be developing a board that you can plug in the back that will allow you to pull multiple devices into the PET, so we can plug in the floppy drive and the future SD to PET device. So for this video, we will continue on using the cassette tape, where I can show you how you can copy files from tape to the drive and vice versa. Okay, with everything connected, we have the PET turned on, we've had the drive turned on, I have my data set plugged in. What I'm going to be doing is loading a program called Organ that plays music. You can play music from the keyboard on the PET from tape. Once we've loaded it from tape, then we're going to save it to the floppy disk on the drive, and then we're going to reboot the computer and the floppy drive, and then see if it loads back up from the cassette, the diskette, sorry. So the command is load quote Organ close quote and hit enter. Now at this point we have the tape set up. We're just going to press play, and it's going to be searching for the program, and once it finds it, it will load it up into the PET. The program is now found and it's loading. Now while it's loading, I can explain that the 4040 upgrade in the drive allows the commands in BASIC 4.0 to be changed or simplified in the sense that I can now run a command to view the content of the floppy disk with the word catalog, or I can type the letter C and the symbol, what is this, the heart symbol or the spade symbol on the keyboard, which is Shift A, and that is the equivalent of the catalog command. So there's short forms for all kinds of programs, and it made it simpler to use the drive. So now we can see the drive is ready, the program is ready. So let's first do a catalog of the floppy disk. Actually, yeah, let's do that first, and then we'll save it. So now I'm running the catalog command, and we already have a program called Organ on the diskette, which I've done this before. So I'm going to call it a different name. We'll call it Organ number 2. So now we are saving the program to the floppy disk. As you can see, the activity light is on. And the new name is Organ 2. So now the ready prompt is back. Let's take a look to see if the program is now on floppy. And we can see that the program is there. So let's reboot the computer. So we wipe all the memory clean and restart the drive, the computer, and load up from the cassette. And then just to see, I'm going to take the okay, everything's booted up. Let's rebooted. Let's see if we can load the Organ 2 program from the floppy disk. So first I'm going to do a directory of the drive. I see we have Organ from before and the new version which we saved called Organ 2. So let's load that up. And now the activity light is happening on the floppy drive. We're seeing is searching for the program, and once it finds it, it'll load it up. And we have the ready prompt. So let's run the program and see if it works. And we can see that it's actually loaded. So it's actually loaded from the floppy disk and not from the drive, the data set. As we can see, the data set is empty. So let's see if it's working. So it is now up and running. So that's basically it. We can actually save programs from the tape to the computer and then to the floppy drive, or we can actually take programs from the floppy drive, load into computer and onto tape if you wanted to go that route. In the meantime, what I'm going to do next is we're going to load a new program called the PET Back to PET. It's a demo program. It's quite interesting, and I'm going to play it for you for the remainder of the video. So hopefully you like this video. You'll subscribe, like, share, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.